There we go. So, I'm going to record this for you, and you can have it in prosperity, but also I'm interested because this is the first time I've done it entirely this way.
Okay.
So we need to go to you, right? Down here. Harry, and we'll go to here. Great. And presentation is really good. And so give me a sense on this first page what you selected and why.
Can I go down to the reflection? I actually can't remember what
The video.
This was...
The video that highlighted your work.
Yeah, this is reflection skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, collaboration skills under the...
working with Kieran, right?
Yeah, here we go. So collaboration skills.
That's it.
Competency, develop a growth mindset, demonstrate in collaboration with others. I can't remember what I actually said for myself.
Well, one of the things is that you worked well together. So I put down here, the evidence was really good. It showed multiple forms of collaborating evidence, demonstrate proficiency. The goal of adapting to new ideas.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I actually had a conversation with Kieran. He said that you matched each other really well because you were really good with the details. And on top of things, he was really good at working with kids of that age group.
Yeah.
And you sort of worked off each other, and you described in the video a really good example where you were teaching and that he was just moving in and adjusting someone as you were leading the lesson. Mm-hmm. And it sort of happened seamlessly.
Yeah.
And it just so you had this sort of peer teaching mindset. And Frank gave you the same feedback, that you really worked well off each other.
Yeah.
Which was really good to see.
Yeah.
So, great. Anything else you want to say about that?
I just can't remember what it is. Like, what did I think I was in the developing stage, that's what I said?
I think you say you're going to demonstrating proficiency, starting to demonstrate proficiency. I would try to focus on ability to suggest alternative practices, right? Yeah. So the idea of expanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think, I placed myself in the proficient category because I thought that Kieran and I worked really good together, and we, like you've said already, we both had our strengths and our weaknesses, and we both...
and you adapted to each other.
Yeah.
So the one that's extending it is now really sort of pushing new ideas, bringing in more informed literature, and building that in a novel way, so then taking it up.
Yeah.
So it's more like, yes, you do it now I'm going to take this stuff and sort of, in a way, collaborate with that, bring it into my thinking as I expand what I can do now as a teacher.
Yeah.
So a lot of those things are, if you notice a lot of the things with the models, it moves away from the teacher running the class, but giving more of the responsibility for the class being run by students, but in a way that students are now accountable for it.
Yeah.
So like they're becoming semi-teachers, right?
Mm-hmm. Which
means huge collaborative skills.
Yeah.
Because you've got to, support, allow, and then move in when they struggle, or back off when they're taking leadership. So it's a very different place from running the class, like a command in the middle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Good? Yeah, whatever. It's good. And I totally agreed, and the video captured it really well.
Yeah. I mean, I think one thing I said about the video was, I think if I was to do it again, I would have focused more on trying to document more evidence.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you had our conversation with
Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron. Because it's so hard to do three things at once. And
I was putting that more for me to give you feedback on a lesson.
Yeah, but it's also good to have reflective feedback on.
And I think what Aaron was getting at is now you realise the value of the video when you become a teacher, how you could use that. One, to improve your own teaching behaviours, but two, for kids to do like you've just done.
Yeah.
Have evidence of their learning, edit it down, create an artifact.
Yeah.
That at the same time solidifies their own learning.
Yeah.
So what he was getting at is, there's two things going on. If you now value the video, you're now thinking about how to use that when you start teaching in his school or someone else's school as a teaching tool.
Yeah.
And it works in multiple ways, right? And that's what he was getting at. It has multiple possibilities, and he basically anticipated what I was doing in the video, because I had no idea how good the video clips would be. But by the end I thought, okay, you've got enough in these videos to make a 2-minute video.
Yeah.
That would capture the essence of your learning.
Yeah. It was just different shots, right? So
there's enough variation that you could get a little story.
Yeah.
That was my goal. Yeah. And it's another assessment tool.
Yeah.
And look, every single person in the class, they loved that video.
Yeah.
They put on the front. Which just shows you, right?
Yeah.
It's a different type of assessment tool.
Yeah.
All right, this is, again, great evidence. So let's look at this one again.
I can't remember which one this So this was the planning documents and the caps, big ideas, essential questions, first people's principles, implement pedagogy. There you go. Oh, so this was planning skills?
So this one...
Yeah, this was planning skills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the overview. When you look back at this document, which was basically what you were doing the practicum to show your progression to your supervisor or your cooperating teacher, but also yourself, mapping what actually happened in lessons.
And what I kind of looked at this document as what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
So that also was a little bit helpful.
And it's a way of trying to get you to interrogate it in relation to the curriculum, right? So it's asking you to think back, and it's reminding you of these things, big ideas, central questions that are more up here, but you're trying to reach to them, because you can't teach first people's principles just in a lesson. They have to be modelled over time, drawn on. And you actually said, in your example, it's amazing when we did the circle and the acknowledgement, and then we can make this link between, right? That way of organising, but also that way of communicating, that you then said it affected a little bit the way in which the students started having an attitude in the lesson, that you were doing it with them rather than just controlling them. So it was an interesting reflection.
Yeah.
So you actually were living a first people principle.
Yeah. I can't remember where I placed myself. Developing. Yeah. So I think I still need to work on aspects of my planning, like in terms of these documents up here. Oops. Like using these and all the different
these aspects,
the unit plan.
Yeah,
because I think that still needs a little bit of work, and I think it's just practice, like you said. So
and I think you're learning to articulate what you're doing in caps that leads to core competencies, and then big ideas and essential questions that are driving the big ideas.
Yeah,
and having all these on a page and coming back to them, they're actually they make you think all the time beyond just the content.
Yeah,
right. And so the content you're teaching is actually a vehicle to teach these things. Yeah. Because these things go across the curriculum and are life skills, really.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't think it's really in here, but I think Kieran and I, we didn't really have I didn't have a issue implementing these things. We didn't really have an issue implementing the first people's principles, because we kind of circled back back in first lesson and last lesson.
Yeah.
So we kind of did that as retention, and obviously we did all these other things in there. I don't think I struggle in the implementation of it. I think it's more just the actual planning and learning how to, I think you already said, how to articulate it. So
describing in those terms, and to realize the way in which you teach affects cognitive.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't ask questions, they don't think. And if I don't give them time to work with peers on a problem, they're not all thinking. Right? You start realizing that cognition doesn't happen because they recall. Right? It happens because they're using their thinking to do something they value.
Yeah.
Right? And then they really start to use those skills.
Yeah.
Right? Cool. And then your goal with this one is to become proficient in lesson planning and linking them back to the BC curriculum, learning standards, and the first people principles. I'll achieve this through more practice. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
and you'll do it out in school in a real environment with a real class of kids, and so then it really starts to get. But all this you've done here would work, just adapted for the size and the different type of environment. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Had you read my comments? Do you know my comments?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I saw them last night, so I just kind of skimmed through them. But
well, the nice thing is that when I make comments, I haven't made any thoughts of you to edit, but any time you edit the page, it tells me.
Oh, really?
Cool.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
I know.
Well, I didn't know that you could sign into different. Remember, you did it with Brett's. I didn't know that you could.
I still fix stuff when people are getting stuck.
But Brett's going, how you can do that?
Yeah, I can go in and just fix it up. But this actually works really good because it's content, and there's a plan, and there's a reflection, and I liked about I think your reflection is how it changed over time.
So this was reflection skills under develop and understand.
Developing understanding of how learners learn in order to evaluate their learning.
DE. Yeah. Okay, so
your
reflection skills. Yeah, and I think sorry, I can't remember what I said. Where did I put myself? Yeah, developing stage.
Right.
Yeah, and I think,
Which is good.
well, I think that this page really tells a story because I think my reflections got progressively better from lesson 1 to lesson 4.
Right.
Which I think lesson 4 was the best because it was reflecting on like 3 aspects, like the feedback from, well, like
The teacher.
yeah, Frank, Kieran, and then my own perspective on the lesson. So, but I mean, this was also like I didn't do lesson 3, lesson 2. Yeah, so lesson 2, that was like purely my lesson, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was good to get. It was like this whole idea of feedback. I think that's really important because like that's one of the ways we learn by repetition and feedback. So I think getting constructive criticism, especially early on in the stage in teaching, is really helpful, especially. So I think, and that just kind of helped develop my reflections.
I think it was cool you giving it to other people as well, right?
Yeah.
So your peers giving you feedback.
Yeah.
At the same time, they were learning stuff.
Yeah, and everybody brings their own feedback to the table. So I got different stuff from Trent and Shalem, I think.
Yeah. And then Frank and me.
Yeah,
so you
Frank,
ended up with, and then Kieran, right? So in fact, you ended up getting feedback probably from 4 different people that prompted your reflections.
Yeah, and we even asked some of the kids sometimes, like, "Oh, like, what did you think of this?" And so that all kind of helped build into the reflection. I don't think I valued more I guess I should have valued some of the students' reflections from the Google Docs, the Google Forms.
Yeah.
So I think that could have helped build into the reflection, and I think that's probably why I've placed myself in the developing stage, because I think student feedback is also important as peer-teacher feedback. But I mean, obviously, it's hard for them to articulate in this criteria, right? So
and you're giving them space, and you actually got some of that later on, right? Because I looked at your survey of the kids. Oh, they're high satisfaction, high comfort level. What they liked about it, I mean, it was. But the fact you valued them was probably really cool.
Yeah.
For them to actually, the whole experience was added on.
Yeah.
What they said mattered.
Yeah.
In a way. So you're actually giving them respect, right? Mm-hmm. And so your next step now is to truly try to develop theory around it, right? That's what you're saying in reflection. Linking that theory, which you've seen in the forums that and all the buddies talk about models. I'm the one adding in theory.
Yeah.
This is a theory that you read, but none of you actually wrote about. But theory is always implicit in all these things because there's some reason why it works.
Yeah.
And so if we know the reason why it works, then we can make it work better because we're applying the theory, right?
Yeah.
Not just the process. And I think that's a very good step. You need to think, what is the theory behind what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And increasing the PDP program, you'll come across that more and more. You'll get little bits right now, but you'll get a lot of it when you get into the PDP program because you get theories across different subject areas as well as in our subject.
Yeah, and I made all my folios public. Like I put it all on my public account, so I can show this to. I want to show this. I have my old rugby coach from high school. He's teaching in Egypt right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing kind of like a thing. So I was going to send him all.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so
that'd be good. I mean, he would be so. I mean, he'd probably ask you how to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, he's teaching grade 8.
Yeah.
Grade 8 in Egypt right now. So.
Well, this you did with the forms was a really. I don't know if you decided in your group, your pair, you and Kieran, we decided to do.
Me. Yeah.
So you were a techie phobic,
and now I'm a techie.
And I love your account here of the lesson.
I think that was what it reflected on, right? Digital technology skills.
And you said that lesson.
Yeah, because I don't know.
And Emma, who's waiting there, loved that lesson too. Because Emma maxed out on my Tim Tech Time Challenge. She did everything.
Oh, really? Oh,
there you go. But it was good that you took that space, embraced this idea of Google Forms, and I was very impressed that you and Kieran came up with. And you did the Docker Pender, and you've got that mapped through.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I don't know if did you embed any of theirs in here? What would be another one is to embed a link maybe here to the folder with theirs in it.
The doc appender? Oh yeah.
You can link to the folder here.
I struggle. I was gonna send you an email earlier this week because I was messing around with this page trying to figure out where I wanted what, and then I forgot how to do the Google Docs. So I had to reteach myself.
That's how you learn it.
But yeah.
So what I think you should do is add on here.
Yeah.
And I can even go and help you do it. Like have 2 columns here.
Yeah.
And then put a link here to the folder. You click on it, you go to the kid, and you can see the kids.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
there's only. It would have been nicer if we had. Remember, we had that screw up with lesson 3 with that whole.
It's just the beginning of it, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see it. It's already an emerging pattern.
Yeah.
That starts to happen. Because I really want to use that more and more myself because I think. But you got this for the kids here anyway.
Yeah, that was.
But having this.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
That should be.
Same one twice.
No, yeah, that should be the other side.
Oh,
that's weird. I gotta fix that.
All right. But it looks good.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I think, where did I put myself?
You put yourself, I think, as developing or becoming proficient even, and maybe becoming more competent. Yeah.
There we go. In between developing and proficient. Yeah. So I don't know. I came into this class with like,
you were not even emerging.
Oh no. Yeah. So.
And that's where you got to because I think, and I read through this, you started to use technology to enable learning.
Yeah.
And your whole comment here is you realize that as a teacher, you have to enable the type of learning that kids are most benefit from. And digital is going to be in their world all the time. And the better they are using it to help them learn, the more they're going to be successful. Right?
Yeah. And everybody's got their own opinion, right? Like technology in the classroom. I think that it can be an effective tool sometimes, but I think it's also, like I said, it's important for them to become literate with the tools.
And use it for the benefit of being more physically active.
Yeah.
Use it for the benefit of recording their progress, not spending time on the computer screen.
Yeah.
The good thing about your technology, it was quick. Even when it didn't work properly, it was quick, sharp, did it, out, right?
Yeah.
But they felt valued.
Yeah.
They felt what they thought was important to you.
Yeah.
So that gets a whole different level of engagement from them.
Yeah.
So it's good. Mm-hmm. So what the last question, because I can see Emma's there waiting to come in. So in the whole course, what was the highlights for you? What's the key things that?
I think. Well, I had a feeling you were going to ask me this question. So I think, I don't know if you've ever taken like a auto shop course. Like I'm really into auto mechanics myself, but not like I've just heard like anecdotal stories from my dad. Like I think that this course really models those classes because what he's told me is like, yeah, they used to give you like this old like 2-stroke motor and you're supposed to it's all disassembled and you're supposed to build it up yourself. So I think that really works as a metaphor to this class in the sense that you're kind of you're throwing us into a whole pool of all these tools and we're learning how to use them, but we gotta teach ourselves and teach other people like in the course, like in the Tim's Tech Challenge on how to use all these tools and how to build it back up to what an effective tool is. So I think that's a really good metaphor for this class in particular, and I really like that aspect of the course. And yeah.
That's great.
So,
that's a great metaphor.
I
mean, and obviously it's a compliment because you appreciate your dad said it was doing. I try to help you, but then I do just trust you, and that's why I'm so impressed if you're using Google Forms. I just trusted that someone will pick it up, and you and Emma did the same thing.
But she did a Google Form too?
Yeah, they will, right? And so it shifts the nature of learning. And I think both your groups benefit hugely. Yeah, the kids, but they're also used to doing it in school, right? So they just see it now as a norm, rather than as an exception. So that's really good. Yeah. All right, that's great. Thank you. I will.